What's up, guys? I know it's been forever since I've made a video. I've just been busy. I've been trying to do it, but I just haven't had the time. So um, recently I've completely redid the AC system in this car. New thermal expansion valve, new dryer, flushed the lines, and then I ended up using Freeze 12, which they don't make anymore, but you can find it on eBay for, it's super expensive. I think I paid close to $100 for that full kit. But I wanted to stay with R12 just because it operates at lower pressures than R134A, and it's way colder than R134A. So I stuck with it, and I've been using the shit out of it when I drive it. It's great, so it's been holding. But anyway, so this video is about a speedometer change that I'm going to do in this car. Instead of getting kilometers, it's going to be a mile an hour. And these are the faceplates. This is my design. I had a company make these for me. These are still standard. All of these right here. I can get these in like 0 to 400. I think it's the Imperial set. Same thing over here. The oil would be in PSI, but I personally like 0 to 50, and then the bar for the oil pressure. The tachometer faceplate's the same, and then this is obviously in mile an hour. Your odometer is still going to be in kilometers, and I had a GTR logo added, and it just looks good to getting rid of this right here. I don't know if you guys remember my first video. I told you that I took this apart and dry erased the white numbers, and then added these stickers for mile an hour. It looks all right when it's in the car, but out it doesn't. But these do not light up at night, so I got a hold of this company to make these for me. I didn't want to just replace this face because I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a slight color difference. It's really not all that drastic, to be honest. It would still annoy the shit out of me though, so I just ended up opting for the whole kit. But I already got this out, obviously, and it's pretty easy to get a hold or get at these gauges. You're going to want to take this surround off. These tabs right here, there's one there, and then there's one there, one there, one there, one there. Just push them in and carefully pull that whole face off. Alright. So yeah, just pull that off and set it to the side somewhere safe. The first gauge I'm going to do is the speedometer. So to get the speedo out, you need to remove 4 screws. 2 here and then 2 here. And these 2 right here are a different size from the ones that hold the speedo in. Well, they all hold the speedo in, but just keep in mind where those 2 short goes. Those 2 short screws go. And then this will just come out like so. And before we remove this needle, we want to know the resting point. So we need to remove this needle stopper right here. And this needle should fall to this indicator right here. So let's go ahead and remove that. Alright. And as you can see, its natural resting point is right at the dot. Don't move it, just pick it up and then let it fall to its natural resting point. So we know that that indicator right there is good. And the best way to get the needle off is just very carefully, you're going to want to just pull straight up on it. I already got it off. I didn't put that video up because I was fucking with it, but it will pop off. It wasn't that hard. Set that off to the side, and then now we're going to change out the face. So we're just these 2 simple Phillips screws right here, and this face should come off, and then we'll slap the new face on. Be careful of this plastic. It's to help distribute the light when you have your lights on, so just make sure that stays there somewhat in place. And then here's the new Speedo cover. And we'll put those 2 Phillips screws back in. Alright, once you have the faceplate screwed back down, the needle right now should be at its resting point. It might actually move a little bit once the actual weight of the needle's on there, but there is an indicator right there on these aftermarket faces. So let's try to, right now we'll line it up and then we'll see where we're at. So we'll just move it over just a little bit more and it should be good. So it did take me a few times of messing with it, but as you can see, it's money right now. So I'll push this down just a little bit more. There, and that is it. Good to go. So then now we'll put the actual needle stop back in. It just pops back in there. Now we'll reinsert it. And then just simply put the screws back in on the back. So you honestly probably could get away with just pulling the needle off and then pulling the screws out and then getting the actual needle stop from underneath, versus pulling out the whole speedometer itself. Probably less risk of damaging it, but I pulled it out anyways. Alright, so for the tack, I've already removed the needle stop to get a reference point on where the needle rests and its max. You don't need to remove this from the actual assembly. The rest of these are actually stepper motors, so the needles should come off fairly easy and the gauges can stay. The Speedo is not a stepper motor, so just keep that in mind when you're removing the needle. Anyways, the new faceplate for the tack has a reference point right here for the resting point. We just want to make sure they're going to line up, so what I did is I got a little permanent marker and just dabbed it right there, just so I know when I remove the face I have a reference point on the old faceplate. So being this is a stepper motor, you should just be able to, all these needles right here, minus the Speedo, you should just be able to, at its stopping point, twist them and pull up on them gently to get them off. That came off easy. And we'll go ahead and remove the 2 Phillips screws, get this face off, and then put the new one on. Keep in mind that plastic light distribution thingy. See how it just distributes lights from each of these light bulbs right here. Alright, so that reference point should be pretty on point. And it is, so we'll go ahead and use the one on the new face. Grab the needle. Basically what you can do, just pop it on anyway, any direction, and then just lightly turn it so you're pulling the stepper motor down to its resting point to when it's pointing, and then just push on a little bit more just to verify. And as you can see, that's pointing right at it, so I'll go ahead and push that on just a little bit more. You don't want to push them all the way down to where they're dragging on the actual face, because then they won't move. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, these faces, these aftermarket faces, are going to let a bit more light through with the factory lighting that you have in the car right now. If you've already converted to LEDs, they're going to be way too bright. Factory lighting, these are going to let a lot more light through than the stock gauges or the stock faces. So in order to get these needles off, take a picture or make a reference point, just kind of note it. I mean, you really don't have to be perfectly accurate with these or the temp, because when you're driving along, it's in the center anyways. So what I did, I don't know if you guys can see this permanent marker, but I went all the way to the stopping point and put some permanent marker right there for a stop, just so I know how to put the needles back on. But these needles are on a stepper motor, so they're literally just going to twist and pull. Just like that. Same thing with the oil. Like I said, I've already taken a picture of it. So twist, give it a light pull. Don't worry about that. There. This cover, if these covers come off, they just literally they snap right back on, just like that. Keep a note. Apparently, these needles are just slightly different in lengths compared with the temp gauge has a longer needle. The oil has a shorter needle if you guys get them mixed up. But now I'm going to go ahead and take these 2 screws out and pull this face off and put on the new one. And don't forget to swap over your needles they're plastic, they'll pop out, and they'll just pop them into the new ones. Alright, the new face is on, so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and rest this needle, turn it till it stops. So it'll be kind of difficult, but see, like right now it's stopped. So what I'll do is just go ahead and drag it so you get it over to the marker that you made, and then just push it down. Just like that. So that one's lined back up, and naturally it'll want to rest back down. Just make sure when you push these down, you don't push them all the way down. I know I've stated that before, but we'll see. Just push it down just a little bit more. That should be good. Alright, now for the oil pressure. This is the one I took a picture of. So again, just rest it. That was about right. So you guys can see my picture, that's where it was. And that's about where it is right now. It actually looks spot on. So go ahead and push that down. And that one is done. This is still going to be a servo motor, so you can still kind of make a reference point with this one. And again, this one will twist off. And then as far as the gas gauge goes, you want to find your resting point for that one, which is right there. And we'll go ahead and make a marking for that one. And then for its high point, don't twist this too quickly. It's not really going to be a good reference point, but it'll kind of give us an idea of how to put it back on. But at the same time, even though I'm doing a video of this, I'm still going to take a picture of it. So now we'll go ahead and just twist this and pull up at the same time. Like I said, don't worry about it if those come off. For this one, I'm probably not going to recommend you guys twist this one. I'm going to do the fork method and try to pry up on it. Hopefully I don't break it. Nope. It's probably a good idea to just go ahead and do this for all of them. Just get a fork, get it in there, just like that. Well, I had it like that, and then just pry up on it. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and remove these screws, transfer over this needle rest, and put the new face on. Alright, the new face is on. Just remember, these needles, the bottom needles on both sides are bigger than the ones up top. Alright, let's go ahead and get we'll put the torque meter on. Alright, so I went ahead and put the needle for the torque meter back on and just kind of referenced it to the indication I did right here, but if you look on this face, there's actually a mark right here, and that rests right where it needs to be. So I'm happy with that. So I'll push this one down so it doesn't move. And let's get our needle stop in there. And now for the fuel gauge. And if you look at on this actual face, there's actually a small little indicator right here which lines up with the marking I made on the housing, so that should be where it needs to go. That's perfect. Go ahead and carefully spin this gauge so it's back up. Probably just leave it at halfway. It'll self-calibrate itself once we turn the car on. Remember, this gauge does not rest. It stays where it is. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Once you have them all on, just make sure this is all clean. You don't have any dust chilling on there. Same thing with your face. Make sure you don't have any dust in there. And then go ahead and pop it back on, and then here in a second I'll have it installed in the car and we can see what it looks like. Alright, and here they are installed. This is with the lights on. Definitely, like I said, more light coming through them, which is a good thing because these cars don't come with a dimmer. So I'd say it's probably the perfect amount of light. But overall, it came out really good. I'm really happy with it. If you guys want one of these sets, just look in the description. But yeah, that's it. I'll have more videos coming soon. I don't know what yet, so just like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.